Synopsis: I am the wicked supporting character in the comments, also the canary raised by Luke Trin-Ongwan, lazy in bed, just a little movement and I cry tired, cry in pain, but when shopping, I am incredibly nimble, his affection shows no mercy. Until one day, a series of floating comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. The days of enjoyment for the wicked supporting character are about to end. The captivating female lead is about to appear, receiving the world's admiration. She will find every possible way to harm the female lead, only to end up being despised by the male lead. Before she could be dumped, she ran after a fake rich guy with money, ending up completely deceived and dying tragically in a shabby rental room. Serves her right, only the kind-hearted female lead, who is not greedy for vanity, deserves the boss's love. Just the plot and the classic elements I like. I looked at those lines of text, my heart grew colder. I don't want to lose this job that pays 300,000 yuan a month. Since then, I have completely changed, no longer lazy, and I dare not let myself go. In bed, I feel like I've been injected with chicken blood, leaving not even a small gap for the female lead to slip in. The male lead looked at me with a half-smile. Are you trying to make me go bankrupt to inherit all the assets? Luke Trin-Ongwan held me in his arms, forcing me to entangle with him in broad daylight. He wants me this way, and then that way, never knowing fatigue. Who isn't tired from work? I nestled into his arms, my voice softening. I have a backache, sore legs, and I don't even want to move my fingers anymore. Luke Trin-Ongwan squeezed my waist tightly. He always liked to leave clear marks on my body. Love bites and hickeys as if declaring ownership. When you went shopping, he chuckled softly, why don't I hear you complaining about being tired? Speaking of shopping, a canary like me instantly feels energized. Brother Trin-Ongwan, I really like this bag, can you buy it for me? I secretly held my phone in front of him. Luke Trin-Ongwan glanced at it and directly paid for the entire shopping cart. Looking at the 26 items displayed as successfully purchased, I happily kissed his cheek. You are truly the best boss in the world, thank you. I don't know where I went wrong, his smile slowly faded, and the atmosphere in the room also became tense. I nervously looked at him, come with me to the celebration party tonight. Sure. Luke Trin-Ongwan's expression softened a bit at that moment. I took the opportunity to lean in and kiss his lips, the atmosphere was intoxicating. Just then, a series of floating comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. The days of happiness for the wicked supporting character are about to end, the captivating female lead is about to appear, she will find every way to harm the female lead. In the end, she will be despised by the male lead. Before she could be dumped, she ran after a fake rich guy with money, ending up completely deceived and dying tragically in a shabby rental room. What's wrong with you? Luke Trin-Ongwan frowned. Are you shaking? Are you cold? I held him tightly, my voice trembling softly. Hold me. Luke Trin-Ongwan pulled me into his arms, and looking at the floating lines of text before my eyes, my heart was in turmoil. In the evening, I linked arms with Luke Trin-Ongwan as we walked into the celebration hall. At that moment, all eyes were drawn to a graceful figure in front. Tavani was already very outstanding, but compared to Kyo-Mong-Ham, she still fell a bit short. I had never seen anyone wear a cheongsam and look so stunning that it could topple cities and kingdoms. The praises echoed in my ears, and I was no different from a perfect backdrop just to highlight her brilliance. I let out a cold huff, feeling unhappy inside. The woman turned her head when she saw her face clearly, and a line of text immediately appeared in my mind. The male and female leads are about to drink a problematic glass of wine, and then they will experience a wild night. From then on, the male lead completely distanced himself from the female lead and never touched the wicked supporting female character again. It turns out that Kyo-Mong-Ham is the female lead in this story, destined to enter the life of Luke Trin-Ongwan. I can't let that happen. I can't lose this job. 300,000 yen a month with occasional bonuses. For me, that is life, I have to change the storyline. Kyo-Mong-Ham gracefully stepped in front of Luke Trin-Ongwan, taking a glass of wine from the waiter's tray. Mr. Luke, hello, I am the director of the Black Rose, Kyo-Mong-Ham. Thank you for investing in my film. I toast to you with these 2 glasses of wine, they absolutely must not drink. I will drink in his place. I quickly grabbed the remaining glass of wine, pretending to stumble on the hem of my dress, and threw myself towards Kyo Mong Ham. Both glasses fell to the floor at the same time, shattering. I thought it was over, but I didn't expect Kyo Mong Ham, though slender, to be quite strong. She lost her balance and pulled me down with her. As her hand was about to hit the broken glass, I instinctively reached out to push her away. My left hand slammed down onto the floor, the shards cut deep into my flesh, and blood immediately gushed out. I had meticulously calculated everything, from expressions to movements to the pitiful weak appearance when falling. There wasn't a single mistake. Kyo Mong Ham. My voice trembled, my eyes filled with tears. I have no grievances with you, so why did you push me into the shards like that? Kyo Mong Ham immediately panicked, her face turned pale as if frightened, and she hurriedly justified, no, it wasn't me, you threw yourself at me. I tilted my head to find the best angle, my gaze slowly drifting towards Luke Tringon. His eyes were cold as ice, and he was furious, an unprecedented rage that made my heart suddenly heavy. We just met for the first time, and you've already taken the side of the female lead? I extended my bloodied hand towards him, my voice trembling slightly, Mr. Tringon, it hurts so much. Luke Tringon immediately bent down to pick me up. Kyo Mong Ham instinctively grabbed his sleeve, but he didn't stop, and she could only grasp at empty air. Mr. Luke, you saw it clearly, she did it on purpose. He didn't bother to turn around and strode straight into the lounge. I looked back, the corners of my mouth curling into a faint smile for Kyo Mong Ham, who was standing frozen in place. The doctor brought a first aid kit and treated my wounds. Luke Tringon, who always stood at the pinnacle of power, rarely got angry, but when he did, he was terrifyingly patient. Next month, all of my 300,000 pocket money will be cut off. In that moment, the world before my eyes seemed to collapse. Why? I blurted out. Let me remember for a little longer. His voice was cold and unwavering. If you don't want me to drink with her, you can say it directly, there's no need to hurt yourself. You are the victor in fierce battles, the one who stands at the top of power. How can my petty tricks fool you? But if Kyo Mong Ham drinks that glass of wine to continue the storyline, sooner or later, they will spend the night together. Compared to that, what does it matter to be a little injured? My throat was dry, but I still tried to soften my voice and whined, so, can it be 200,000 N? Lu Qingyun didn't bother to respond and turned to leave. I hurriedly followed closely behind. Absolutely cannot let him have the chance to get close to the female lead. But I had underestimated the power of the plot. The one who drugged the wine was not Kyo Mong Ham but Kai Thursday Fong, the prince of the underworld, the male supporting character who was infatuated with the female lead to the point of madness. At that celebration party, he had forced Kyo Mong Ham, wanting to make her his own. Kyo Mong Ham had a tough personality. Without hesitation, she smashed the wine bottle straight onto his head. She turned and rushed towards Lu Qingyun, pulling out an antique watch, her voice ringing clear. Mr. Lu, do you remember? 7 years ago, you were seriously injured, and I was the one who saved you. You once said that I could make a request of you later. She raised her head, her gaze firm. Mr. Lu, I want to stay at the Kinmen Villa. I was about to speak up to stop her. All right. Lu Qingyun's voice was low. Decisive. Just that one word felt like a public declaration. He was protecting her. Kai Thursday Fong clutched his head, chasing after her with a look full of resentment, but in the end, he didn't dare to take another step. He had no right to touch the person that Lu Qingyun wanted to protect. At that moment, a line of text flashed through my mind. The female lead moved into the Kinmen Villa, the wicked female supporting character tried every way to harm her, but she resolved everything step by step. During their time living together, Lu Qingyun gradually fell into the web of love with the female lead.
This story is brought to you by Brainy.
I clenched my fists, blood from the wound soaked the bandage. So be it, let's take our time to fight, we will return to the Kinmen Villa. After learning that Kyo Mong-hem was indeed the lifesaver, Lu Qingyan's attitude towards her was indeed different. Dan Wei arranged a room for Miss Kyo. All living standards were according to her. I felt a little choked up inside, but I still smiled on my face. Yes, I know. But I didn't expect that before I could take action, Kyo Mong-hem had already led people to uproot my vegetable garden and replace it with new flower beds. I was so angry that I trembled, rushing downstairs, looking at the uprooted vegetables thrown aside, feeling heartbroken and speechless. Kyo Mong-hem smiled gently. A high-end villa like this, growing vegetables is really inappropriate. Look how beautiful the datura flowers and the layless roses are. She wore a light white dress, a small hat embroidered with flowers on her head. In the sunlight, her face was so pure that it made it impossible to feel any dislike. She picked a flower and gently pinned it in my hair. Dan Wei, be good, don't be angry anymore. Standing in this flower garden, let me take some beautiful pictures of you. Beautiful my head. With such a large yard, why is she targeting my vegetables as a guest? How long have I been growing them? The vegetables in the house were all grown by this Dan Wei. Does she know that Lu Qingyan is very picky about vegetables? Such fertile land, not growing vegetables is really a waste. Taking a step back is to retreat forever. I rolled up my sleeves, uprooting flowers while instructing the servants, uproot all of these, and make flower cakes. Kyo Mong-hem hurriedly ran over, grabbing my hand, her eyes red. Don't do that, don't touch my flowers. I pushed her hand away, not using much strength, yet she stumbled and hit her head against the rockery beside her, blood immediately flowing down. I'll hold you. Kyo Mong-hem turned her head to look behind me, her voice weak yet gentle. Mr. Luke, you didn't get to admire the flowers back then, I have replanted them, please don't blame me for being brief. She didn't mean to, it was just that I was standing unsteadily. A statement that was both noble and left others unable to refute. TSK, having been a canary for a long time. This is still the first time I see a female lead having to act like a green tea because she blamed the female supporting role. I turned around, Luke Tringon's gaze lingered on the flower pinned in my hair, silent to the point of being incomprehensible. This flower is really beautiful. It seems there exists a private memory between them that I cannot touch. A suffocating feeling of dark jealousy surged within me. Luke Tringon personally took Kyo Mong-hem to the hospital. I sat alone in the living room, restless and uneasy. Hearing the sound of the car, I quietly hid behind the curtain to look outside. Kyo Mong-hem, with a bandage on her head, stumbled as she got out of the car, almost falling into Luke Tringon's arms. Luke Tringon helped her to the driver, while he took a box and went straight inside. He placed the box in front of me. What is this? Flower cake? Didn't you want to eat? I opened the box and quietly ate piece by piece. She's fine, don't blame yourself. I didn't. Luke Tringon didn't expose me, just quietly took a tissue to wipe my hands. He actually has a lot of real estate in the capital. Leaving the villa might be a way to change the situation. I tried to probe, Mr. Tringon, how about we move to a larger apartment in the city center? He replied very decisively, saying it was okay to stay occasionally, but not to move in permanently. This is where his mother passed away. In his heart, this place is home. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Kyo Mong-hem walking in. I lifted Luke Tringon's face and kissed his lips, kissing until saliva was all over. Mr. Tringon, carry me upstairs, I want to hug. Luke Tringon's breath was disordered, he picked me up in a child-carrying position and quickly walked upstairs. I wrapped my arms around his neck, coldly glaring at Kyo Mong-hem. She wants to steal my fortune, no way. The next morning when I woke up, I saw the flowers in the yard had been completely uprooted. Workers are fixing my vegetable garden. Kyo Mong-hem bent down to pick up the fallen petals. I walked over, unable to hide my smugness. Mr. Tringon still stood by my side, she still has a long way to go. She laughed coldly. Brief statement. How long can you rely on your beauty to win others' favor? If she had focused on her career with the same passion she has for men, she might have succeeded like me by now. I burst out laughing at her arrogant attitude. Her family comes from an artistic lineage. Thanks to her family's resources, she was able to produce a billion-dollar film right after graduating from college. As for me, I was kicked out by my parents right after finishing middle school and had to work to help support the family. If I were to recount my hardships, it would take a whole year to finish. She doesn't understand the struggles of a girl at the bottom of society. Her words always carry the innocence of someone who has never faced setbacks. I laugh. Cruel supporting characters like us never make things difficult for ourselves. If I could just settle down and make money. Why not? Lu Qingyuan has no girlfriend and no wife. My relationship with him is completely voluntary. Outsiders disdainfully call me a brainless canary. I look at my wallet full of love and sleep soundly all night. It's just a different way of living, and arguing about it is pointless. You're so capable, so why do you still use Hue's favor to force Qingyuan to protect you? Look at him, her gaze is filled with hatred as if she wants to strip him bare. If given the choice to be a canary now, she might not even accept a salary. Don't pretend to be noble with me. Kyo Mongham's face turned red, and she straightened her back. I'm not like you, I truly love him, not for money. I will make Qingyuan see your true colors. I couldn't help but be curious about what she was planning to do. I lay stretched out on the sofa, watching a short film while munching on potato chips, feeling so comfortable that I didn't seem like someone being interrogated at all. Kyo Mongham and Lu Qingyuan walked in. She calmly presented each expense of the Kenmin villa. She specified from the largest to the smallest how much money I had embezzled in my role as a housekeeper, including the ancient calligraphy paintings in the living room. She continued, they have all been sold by her, now what's hanging is all fake. I kept my eyes glued to the screen, not bothering to look up. Lu Qingyuan asked, Miss Kyo, if your cat broke a cup, would you blame it? No. Kyo Mongham froze, finally understanding. In his eyes, what I do is no different from a kitten breaking things. He might frown, but he would never be angry. Thank you for the reminder. Lu Qingyuan's voice was calm. But I'm the kind of person who, even if the cat scratches the whole house, I would still hold it. Kyo Mongham stiffened, her face gradually turning pale, and then she quietly left. Lu Qingyuan sat down on the sofa. I hugged a pillow, knelt on the couch, and massaged his feet. The movements were so skilled as if I had been doing it for a long time. She's also capable, she's probably not any less than you. I buried my face in his leg, my voice softening. But as long as you stand by my side, I won't lose. Stop pretending to be cute. Lu Qingyuan chuckled coldly. He treats me well, yet I dare to steal things from the house. You already said you weren't angry. I lazily replied, just consider it a few bucks to make you happy. Lu Qingyan let out a soft grunt. I took the opportunity to climb onto his lap and continued watching the movie. In the movie, the two characters were sitting and chatting with each other. People like us, canaries, have no heart, all we need is the love of the wealthy. You play me, I play you, it's just a transaction. As soon as that line ended, I suddenly saw his gaze darken. I cleared my throat twice and quickly turned off the machine. But the person kissed his little throat. Qi Yan, do you know? I really love you. He chuckled softly. He doesn't mind that I'm only with him for money because he's very rich. That's also one of his good points. Lu Qingyan's hand rubbed my head. A new comment appeared in the sky. The exciting plot is about to come. The male lead is in danger. The female lead saves him once again. For the first time, the male lead is moved by the female lead. I held back my bait, burying my face in his neck, feeling that the author was really annoying. The birthday party for Lu Qingyan's grandmother, Qiao Minghan, as the daughter of the Qiao family, also received an invitation to the gift-giving part of Muangdo. The gift I gave was a jewelry set worth 10 million. Grandma Lu glanced over coldly and said, Isn't the money you spend Trinyan's money? What's there to talk about? Qiao Minghan gently gifted a medicinal pillow to Andan. Grandma picked up the pillow, fond of it, and said contentedly, "You are still filial. I haven't been sleeping well lately, and smelling this medicine feels so relaxing." Everyone admired the female lead with appreciative eyes while throwing me looks of disdain. Xiao Minghan looked at me triumphantly. I slowly opened the jewelry box and brought it to Grandma, smiling. "Grandma, I heard Trin Yen say that years ago, Grandpa failed in business, and it was you who sold all your dowry to help him get back on his feet. Your heart, we have never forgotten, and it serves as a guiding principle for us to live together." I searched for a long time to find this piece of jewelry again. Grandma lifted the jewelry to admire it, her eyes glistening with emotion. "I've been looking for this for so many years. I didn't expect you to have such a heart." Applause immediately erupted around. Everyone praised Grandma as the wife of Chao Kang. Without her, the Liu family wouldn't be where it is today. Being flattered, Grandma's face brightened even more. I casually picked up Xiao Minghan's pillow and lightly brought it to my nose. The dragon bone and stone are indeed calming and help with sleep, but both have mild toxicity. Prolonged use can harm the stomach. Grandma originally had a weak stomach. These medicines must be guided by a traditional Chinese medicine doctor and absolutely cannot be used carelessly. Grandma's expression immediately changed, and she turned to look at Xiao Minghan with a stern gaze. A few people saw Grandma's expression and echoed, "If you don't understand traditional Chinese medicine, don't use harmful medicines carelessly." Xiao Minghan panicked and explained, "It's just mild toxicity, you need a large dose for side effects." "I've considered this pillow carefully." The guests began to whisper. "Even if the toxicity is mild, it's still toxic. The elderly should absolutely not use it. Fortunately, Ms. Tu understands pharmacology, otherwise, the consequences would be unpredictable. In fact, I don't understand traditional Chinese medicine at all. I just know that Xiao Minghan was preparing a medicinal pillow, so I secretly studied a few basic knowledge points to protect myself. This time, I won again." I casually threw the pillow aside, the corners of my mouth curling up provocatively. Qiao Mongham's gaze trembled, to the point where she almost couldn't contain herself. I looked up and happened to catch Luke Tringon's gaze from upstairs. He stood there quietly observing everything. Not long after, my phone vibrated. "Here comes the message." I immediately seized the opportunity and replied, "So the allowance for next month." The message wasn't even finished sending and I already got a response. "Still deducted." I gritted my teeth and continued, "Then I won't serve you next month." A kitten sticker went on strike. Almost immediately, a new message popped up, rejecting it. Before I could be happy, the second line arrived, only offering 200,000. I looked at the screen, laughing so hard my eyes were squinted. Negotiation successful. I also knew his weakness. Luke Tringon slightly smirked at me, then turned back to the study to continue discussing business with the uncles. Qiao Mongham saw the interaction between me and Luke Tringon, her eyes glimmered with jealousy. That year, I saved Luke Tringon. I should have been his white knight. On what basis does he ignore me completely and prefer a girl like her who is materialistic? I scoffed, "What's wrong, young lady? Finally realized that this world doesn't revolve around you? You should have lost your composure by now. Does anyone who saves a person expect the victim to repay them with their body like you? Calculating, aren't you? In fact, I wasn't fighting for a man but for a salary of 300,000 a month along with countless expensive gifts. If Qiao Mongham were smart enough, she should better make an offer. If she pays me more than Luke Tringon, I might actually consider leaving him. She has never been poor, never had to go hungry to the point of stealing buns, never lacked money for sanitary pads and had to use rough paper instead, dirtying her pants and being laughed at by classmates, never had to use homemade shampoo, never been scolded by her biological father just for boiling water to bathe in winter, being yelled at for wasting gas. Never been beaten to the point of having no intact place, still being thrown out by her family without food. She has never been tormented by the fear of not having money. Squinting in pain made me feel inferior, unworthy of having beautiful things. People are often haunted by what they couldn't have when they were young. A lifelong obsession. A young lady like Kyo Mongham will never understand us. Those who love money can be obsessed with it to such an extent. That's why she can look down on me with that lofty demeanor. Even though I haven't done anything illegal. She thinks she's more independent and capable but doesn't see that her behavior when competing for men is just as ugly as mine. The birthday party hasn't started yet. The garden in the Luke family's mansion is meticulously crafted, with bright lights and lush greenery. I strolled alone, not knowing when I had turned into a quiet corner. Suddenly, a strong force pushed me from behind. Before I could react, I rolled straight down the stone steps, my body hitting repeatedly, my head struck hard against the ground, and blood immediately gushed out. My vision blurred. In a moment of haze, I saw Kyo Mongham standing high above, her cold gaze looking down at me. I burst out laughing. She finally stopped pretending to be virtuous. That's good too. If she really took action, wouldn't that mean she wouldn't be virtuous enough to stay with Luke Tringon anymore? When I woke up, everything around was pitch black. I didn't take too long to understand what was happening. I unconsciously joked. "Ni Kang, it's too dark, why don't you turn on the light?" As a footnote, the character Fook Ni Kang in Hon Chao Catch lit a candle when Ha Tu Vai was blind. A warm hand immediately grasped mine. "Don't be afraid." Luke Chingon's voice was deep. The temporary loss of vision next to my ear. The doctor said it was due to a hematoma pressing on the optic nerve. Once the blood dissipates, your eyes will gradually recover. That's strange. Luke Tringon can always recognize my true emotions. Even when I'm joking or not saying anything. Not being afraid is a lie, it's just that it can't escape his eyes. I tightened my grip on his hand, my other hand clutching his shirt. "How long until I can see again?" 1 to 2 months. "Really?" "Yes." I let out a small sigh of relief. His voice deepened. "Did Kyo Mongham push you?" Kyo Mongham was also there. Her voice panicked. "It wasn't me, I didn't do it." At that moment, I was just a blind, pitifully weak person wanting to save Luke Tringon. Right now, I don't have that ability. With her heroine aura was the only one who could protect him from that tragic fate. So no matter how much I hate her, I have to keep her safe. Once I'm better, the first thing I'll do is deal with her, at least as domineering as when Bak Tien demanded her eyes from Takam. I took a deep breath and said, "It wasn't her, I just slipped." With my personality, if it weren't true, I definitely wouldn't be able to hold back from retorting. That's why those words made Luke Tringon trust me even more. He pulled me into his arms, his voice chillingly frightening. "Miss Kyo, I kept my promise to let you stay in the villa only because of the favor from years ago, but I don't like you. If you dare to hurt Van Wy again in the future," his voice dropped cold as ice, "no matter who it is, I won't hold back. Remember that, it's truly a classic line of the male and female leads. They have a script full of sorrow. In the early stages, Luke Tringon really didn't love her but protected me more." Kyo Mongham trembled and said, "Mr. Luke, why do you think of me like that? I have always wanted to be friends with Van Wy, how could I harm her?" After saying that, she left in frustration. I turned to Luke Tringon and said, "I consulted a fortune teller, recently we have a sign of disaster. I have experienced it, you need to be more careful when you go out and bring more bodyguards. If in the end you really love Kyo Mongham as the script dictates, I might be very heartbroken. But I'm not going to let go easily. Kyo Mongham has already taken action against me before. Next time she pulls a trick, I can respond strongly and justifiably. Suddenly going blind is a very scary thing. I have difficulty walking and have fallen countless times." Luke Tringon told the servant to wrap all the edges of the furniture to avoid me getting hurt. "I don't feel safe, especially relying on you. When you go to the bathroom, I have to tightly hold on to your shirt and wait. But you are too proud, and when you go inside, you absolutely won't let me follow." I stood outside scratching the door. "Brother Tringon, I don't dislike you. Be quiet and watch the movie. But I can really be by your side." Luke Tringon felt like cursing, sat silently for 10 minutes, then rewarded me 100,000 N. Oh well, if that's the case, then fine. Hee. The Alipay account received 100,000 yuan. I hugged my phone, laughing so hard my eyes were squinted. Luke Tringon personally fed me, and even helped me bathe, but every time I was bathing, he would pull me back to do some things that were hard to say. I no longer avoided it either. The next day, Luke Tringon had an appointment to discuss matters with an important figure at the club. He arranged a private room for me and ordered all kinds of snacks I liked. Secretary Tran and Aunt Wang will be here to take care of you. I'll be back soon, just sit here quietly and don't run around. I laughed, not expecting that I could feel a sense of being pampered from Luke Tringon. He instructed Secretary Tran a few things before leaving. I was eating cake and drinking tea, but a feeling of indescribable unease rose in my heart. Those comments had never disappeared, they didn't appear before my eyes like writing but felt like a sudden stream of consciousness flooding into my head. In that hazy space, I felt the familiar lines in the club again. A group of armed assassins was quietly approaching, targeting the male lead. The female lead would turn off the lights, taking the opportunity to help him escape. Finally, an assassin hiding in the dark fired at the male lead. The female lead took the bullet for him. Luke Tringon was discussing matters with a big shot, the phone would definitely be on silent. I was so startled that I broke out in a cold sweat. Quickly go upstairs and inform Mr. Luke. There is a group of armed assassins coming, they intend to kill him. Secretary Tran immediately rushed upstairs. I turned to Aunt Wang and said, Aunt Wang, please turn off the power for me. Aunt Wang dropped the cake in panic and said, they have guns, I'm just a worker, I don't want to die. Aunt Wang ran away in fear. She chose to protect herself. That was only natural. I understand. If I were in her position, I would run away first too. Recently, the blood clot pressing on my optic nerve has partially dissolved. I hurried to call the police. There are bodyguards of Luke Tringon downstairs. At that moment, gunshots and fighting broke out. Waiting for the police might be too late. I can't just sit still and wait to die. I sneaked outside to cut the power. Everyone around was running away. I stumbled and fell again and again, my face bruised. I was lost, a blind person like me couldn't find the power switch. Just then, the lights went out. Was it Kyo Monghem who cut the power? I breathed a sigh of relief, constantly praying that Luke Tringon could turn the situation around. Safe and sound. The gunfire gradually subsided, the assassins were subdued, and the lights in the hall turned back on one by one. I rushed straight into those familiar arms. Luke Tringon's voice was hoarse, showing panic for the first time. Brainy, are you okay? I'm fine. And you? I'm fine too. Just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, I caught a glimpse of a dark figure flashing. Someone on the distant stairs raised a gun, aiming straight at Luke Tringon. Be careful. I pushed him away with all my strength. The gunfire rang out, a bullet grazed my cheek, leaving a burning scratch. I fell to the ground, trembling all over, my hands holding my head. Finally, the assassin was completely subdued. Kyo Monghem rushed over, her face pale. Mr. Luke, are you okay? Luke Tringon didn't look at her at all, he bent down to pick me up, holding me tightly in his arms. I curled up, trembling so much that I couldn't speak. He bent down and lightly kissed my forehead, his voice trembling, it's okay now, you weren't shot. Then, as if to reassure himself, I'll say it again, you weren't shot. Brainy, you will be fine. He completely ignored Kyo Monghem and rushed outside with me. I gradually became more alert on the way to the hospital, secretly feeling pleased. The moment the female lead was supposed to shine was stolen by me. The truth is that the power switch had already been ordered to be cut by Luke Tringon earlier because he discovered someone with a weapon sneaking into the hall. Kyo Monghem didn't even have time to touch the switch. I lay on the hospital bed, leisurely munching on an apple. Luke Tringon stood beside me, his gaze probing. How did you know there was an ambush? And that they had guns? The most reasonable explanation is that I was an insider planted next to him but betrayed him at the last minute. If I said I saw the comments, I would probably be sent straight to a mental hospital. I thought for a moment and replied seriously, it was the master who told me. Which master? Just someone I met on the road. He said we were fated, but you weren't. I hugged my chest, pretending to be weak. Please don't ask any more, I'm really uncomfortable. Luke Tringon stared at me for a long time, finally sighed, and placed his hand on my chest. To Van Y, his voice dropped, both helpless and anxious. To VNY, please be honest with me, even if you are a homewrecker, I won't blame you. My nose was stinging, and I felt extremely aggrieved inside. I rubbed my eyes, holding back tears that wouldn't fall. I'm not a homewrecker, I'm not. In this situation, I could completely use tears to win you over, but why am I not crying? Luke Tringon sighed, hugged me tightly, and said seriously, this ends here, I won't bring it up again. When he said it was over, he really meant it. Very quickly, Luke Tringon found out that the one behind it was his uncle, Luke Twandin. Luke Twandin was sent to prison, and the threat was eliminated. I immediately wanted to tell Luke Tringon that Kyo Monghem had pushed me. At that moment, the comments reappeared, the male lead would face life-threatening danger, and the female lead would save him. Through adversity, the genuine feelings between the male and female leads progressed significantly. Again, the plot never truly ends, does it? This world seems to have a mysterious force, constantly rewriting the storyline that is drifting further away. Kyo Monghem, Luke Tringon's protective charm must stay by his side. I suddenly thought of my tragic fate in the future, being scammed by a fake rich second generation, losing all my money and dying alone in a cheap rental room. That thought sent chills down my spine. I fear that no matter how much I change, fate will find a way to pull me back to the old trajectory. I looked up at Luke Tringon, hesitated for a moment, and asked, on Tringon, if, just if, I fell out of love with you and ran away with someone else, what would you do? His expression darkened in an instant. Who is that person? I'm just saying hypothetically. I hurriedly waved my hand, please don't be so tense. His voice dropped, cold enough to be frightening. Kill him and bring me back. That answer made my heart tremble slightly. Clearly, this person is completely different from the male lead in the original plot. Life may have been written in advance, but the way each person walks through it has never been fixed. I suddenly wanted to kiss him, but the result was awkward. If it were the richest person in the world, I paused for 2 seconds. Just those 2 seconds were enough to turn Luke Tringon's face as dark as a fly-covered button. I had to put in a lot of effort to calm him down. Finally, I lay on his lap, my voice softening. Luke Tringon, my mouth hurts, my chin hurts, you're bullying a blind person. He chuckled softly, his breath brushing against my hair. What are you trying to ask for again? At first, I intended to say I wanted him to buy me a luxury apartment, but for some reason, the words changed direction as soon as they reached my lips. I don't need anything, I just want you to be happy. Luke Tringon was silent for a moment before chuckling softly, his deep voice easily intoxicating others. I suddenly realized that when he was happy, my heart felt strangely at ease. That feeling was even more satisfying than buying the most luxurious item. I wrapped my arms around his waist, burying my face in his embrace like a kitten seeking warmth. The sunlight outside the window shone in, warm enough to make one feel lazy. A month later, the bruises had faded completely, and my vision had fully recovered. A month later, the bruises had faded completely, and my vision had fully recovered. During the shareholders' meeting, Lu Qinggan let me sit in the vice chairman's seat. The same position that Lu Tuandin held before. Everyone was confused about what was happening. I was also bewildered, quietly sitting and eating pastries on the table. A shareholder spoke up. Mr. Lu, what do you mean? Lu Qinggan suddenly declared, I have given all of Lu Tuandin's shares to Wan Yi. Cough cough cough, I almost choked to death. Lu Qinggan casually patted my back. Some time ago, you handed me a pile of documents, making me sign and leave my fingerprints. I was half asleep at that time, completely unaware. It turns out you gave all of Lu Tuandin's shares to me. How enormous is this asset? I really became rich overnight, instantly stepping into a different level. Surely no one in this world can give away as much as Lu Qinggan. No matter how red-eyed or unwilling the shareholders are, they cannot oppose your decision. It seems Mr. Lu really loves Ko too. Is this the betrothal gift? Lu Qinggan replied nonchalantly, it's not worth much, not enough to be considered a betrothal gift. Everyone is absolutely silent in the face of the power of capital, while I just fainted. When I fainted, a satisfied smile was still on my lips. I woke up smiling, and when I opened my eyes, I was back at the Jianming villa. Lu Qinggan laughed, is that all the ambition you have? I rushed over to hug him, laughing so hard my mouth was about to tear. Why did you give Lu Tuandin's shares to me? Consider it a thank you for saving my life or compensation for misunderstanding me as a spy. Lu Qinggan had investigated thoroughly. I was not the spy that Lu Tuandin had placed beside him. When she learned that I received Lu Tuandin's shares, Qiao Menghem was so furious she went crazy in her room. No way, it can't be like this. I was also at the club then, it should have been me saving him. Everything that Tuani has now was originally supposed to belong to me. How did it turn out like this? As the wicked female supporting character, I naturally had to take the opportunity to flaunt in front of the female lead and stab her in the heart. Just lucky, I succeeded in an instant, even more than you. What are you so proud of? You are just someone who trades her body for money. Slap. I slapped her face. She held her cheek. Oh, you dare hit me? She raised her hand to retaliate. I grabbed her wrist and retaliated with another slap. These two slaps are considered payback for that kiss push, so you got off easy. Qiao Menghem felt guilty, immediately falling silent like a chick being plucked. 2 slaps are certainly not enough. I also gave her a small gift. I had my trusted person secretly release 10 big rats into Qiao Menghem's room. Aha! The shrill scream echoed throughout the villa. She panicked and ran outside, her face pale, screaming for help, straight to find Lu Qinggan. Mr. Lu, Tuani released rats into my room. Lu Qinggan glanced at her, his tone indifferent, such a small matter, solve it yourself. Qiao Menghem was so angry that her face twisted, turning to glare at me. I leisurely shook my wrist, the gold bracelets clinking together, and smiled smugly. Just then, a strange sensation crawled up my leg. I looked down and saw a mouse raising its head, sharp teeth bared, about to nibble on my toe. Ah! I let out a scream and jumped onto Lu Qingyuan like a frightened rabbit, wrapping my arms tightly around his neck. Lu Qingyuan, catch the mouse, there are dozens of them, we can't afford to lose even one. Qiao Menghem coldly remarked, you reap what you sow, and the villa immediately erupted in chaos, with servants running everywhere to catch the mice. In the midst of the chaos, I still clung tightly to Lu Qingyuan. He effortlessly picked me up, holding me like a child as he strode out to the yard. Lu Qingyuan, I asked softly, are you laughing at my foolishness in your heart? He gently patted my head, his gaze softening. Being foolish is fine, but not being a bad person. I paused. That's right, in everyone's eyes, I am the wicked female antagonist, full of schemes and tricks. But if this continues, I won't be able to stay by his side. Perhaps I should retract my clause. After all, I have sacrificed quite a bit for him. A few days later, at the shooting range, I had just changed and stepped out when I saw Qiao Menghem, and next to her was a man. Just a glance, and I knew right away. He was the fake young master in the plot, the man whose fate was destined to ruin me. The moment our eyes met, my heart suddenly raced as if it had been shot. So this feeling is what Lu Qingyuan felt when he saw Qiao Menghem? It was written that he loved Qiao Menghem, but until now, he only loves me. Qiao Menghem saw me staring at that man without blinking, smiling knowingly. Jiang Hao is my college friend, his family is one of the top tycoons in Singapore. It turns out Kyo Mongham introduced this fake young master to me. She knew I was greedy for money. Jiang Hao was the trap she set specifically for me. Lu Qingyuan was right, she really is clever. Lu Qingyuan had just finished changing and stepped outside. All the eyes in the yard were immediately drawn to him. He has broad shoulders, a slim waist, long legs, and a cold, domineering aura. Clearly, he was more handsome and masculine than Jiang Hao, excelling in every aspect. I was truly blind to betray Lu Qingyuan for a worthless person like Jiang Hao. I raised my gun and aimed at Jiang Hao, who was so scared he fell to the ground. Don't do anything reckless or I might hit the target behind you. Mr. Liu, Kyo Mongham specifically introduced her college friend to me, saying he is a tycoon from Singapore. Lu Qingyuan hates it most when a tycoon appears beside me. He immediately told Secretary Tran to investigate Jiang Hao's identity. In less than half an hour, Secretary Tran had found out. Jiang Hao is a professional con artist, deceiving many innocent girls. He was immediately arrested by the police. Kyo Mongham cried like a flower pear in the rain. Mr. Liu, I really didn't know Jiang Hao was a con artist. He deliberately approached me, surely to swindle my money. I have to thank you and Van Wai for helping me expose him. Luke Tringon may have an expressionless face, but I know he is angry. Based on my understanding of him, he will kick Kyo Mongham out of the Tranhai villa. At that point, the Black Prince Kai Thuofeng will no longer hold back and will definitely imprison her. I don't know what other damn dangers this script has in store for Luke Tringon. It's not time to kick Kyo Mongham out yet. I hurriedly said, I didn't say you intentionally plotted against me. Look at her, she's so scared that her makeup is running. You should quickly retouch your makeup. Kyo Mongham went to retouch her makeup. Luke Tringon looked at me with a questioning gaze. How could you keep her after she did something like that? I acted mysterious. Brother Luke, you're not so clever that you can see through everything, right? This is a riddle I set for you before the answer is revealed, just let her stay in our house for now. Luke Tringon agreed. He lowered his voice and warned, there are many fake rich guys outside now. Fake young masters, don't be foolish and follow them. Even if they are really rich, their love is only for you to see, not for you to have. I linked my arm with his. I know, I only like your love, brother Luke. Luke Tringon has to go abroad for work. My passport has a problem, I can't go with you. Just thinking about you leaving my sight makes me uneasy. Do you really have to go? This project is very important, you have to handle it yourself. I pressed my lips together, then you must be careful. When you're abroad, you must take a bodyguard, and your weapons must be fully prepared. He bowed his head, softened his tone, wait for me to come back. I immediately covered his mouth with my hand, don't say such unlucky things. He laughed, pulled me into his arms, and kissed me deeply. The passionate kiss lasted so long that I could barely breathe. Brother Luke, I want it to be too late. In the end, I could only helplessly watch him leave. I don't know when I started to fear losing him so much. After Luke Tringon left, Kyo Mongham didn't go abroad either. That means this danger won't happen to him. But I didn't expect that the one in trouble would be me. Kyo Mongham actually colluded with Kai Thuofeng and directly attacked me. She coldly ordered, kill her. I felt a chill down my spine. Please, God, draw a clear line. She has turned so dark already. Please strip her of her leading lady's halo. I looked over at Kai Thuofeng. Theoretically, he wouldn't dare to touch me because I'm Luke Tringon's person, unless he plans to use me to threaten him. Sure enough, Kai Thuofeng stood still for a moment and then laughed. Kill her. He raised an eyebrow, his voice low and mocking. Suddenly, he kicked Kyo Mongham hard, knocking her to the ground. She cried out in pain, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth, her eyes filled with disbelief. You love me, don't you? Why? Why do you treat me like this? Lightly licking his lips with his tongue, his gaze cold as a venomous snake. Who told you that I love you? I just find you interesting, I just want to play a little. At this moment, Kyo Mong-ham realized what kind of person she had gotten involved with, but she stubbornly refused to believe that Kai Thuo-fong didn't love her. No, it can't be. You're using a soft tactic to bind me tightly, right? Fool. I exposed her delusions. How could there be so much love for Duong? Do you think you're a fairy? Everyone has to love you. Die for you, live for you. Kai Thuo-fong had been oppressed by Luke Tringon for so long, unable to do many things. If you give him a chance, of course he will kill Luke Tringon. What the hell is love? Benefits are the most important. Kai Thursday-fong came over and squeezed my chin, as if you had a brain. I continued, so how could someone like Luke Tringon be threatened by you for me? Besides, I'm just the canary he has kept for 3 years, he could get tired of me at any time. It's better if you let me go, pretend nothing happened, and I won't tell him. He won't take revenge on you either. Kai Thuo-fong chuckled softly. No, he loves you. Should I refute it? He doesn't love me. Bang! Just then, the iron door swung open, and Luke Tringon walked in alone. Seeing that he really came, he loves you. Surrounding me were over 40 tattooed men, their eyes cold, weapons in hand. My heart sank to the bottom. This time, there really is no way out. I gritted my teeth, almost screaming. Luke Tringon, are you crazy? If you don't come, I might still find a way to escape. Now that you're here, we're both dead. His voice was low, calm to the point of being frightening. He said, if I'm a minute late, it will hurt you. He rushed to take a private jet back, right on time. I was stunned, speechless, just silently looking deeply at Luke Tringon. Fool, you don't need to put yourself in danger for me. Luke Tringon lit a cigarette, maintaining a calm and discreet demeanor, coldly glancing at the watch on his wrist. Let her go. Ha ha. Kai Thuo-fong seemed to go crazy, holding his stomach and laughing loudly. Luke Tringon, right now you are the piece of meat on my chopping board, still daring to act arrogantly? Kai Thursday-fong was wildly excited. For many years in front of him, I always had to endure, bowing my head and pretending to be weak. I never expected that today he would kneel before me for a woman. Kai Thursday-fong rushed at Lu Ching-yin with an iron rod, crazily swinging it down at him. Mr. Liu, President Liu, the boss, blood splattered everywhere. It must be more interesting than playing with a fairy. Lu Ching-yin was beaten until his head was covered in blood, but he still showed no signs of struggle. Kai Thursday-fong shoved the bloodied iron rod into my hands, laughing cruelly. Come on, hit him with all your strength, make him suffer 1,000 times more, and I will spare you. I trembled, gripping the rod tightly. My own self is the most important. I always knew that to be a canary, the biggest taboo was to truly have feelings. I gritted my teeth and swung the iron rod hard at his head, blood trickling down Kai Thursday-fong's forehead and dripping onto the ground. I struggled to smile, but Lu Ching-yin had exchanged it for genuine feelings. I am willing to repay genuine feelings. I have always been afraid to admit it. I love him. Now it seems there is no way back. Do you want to die, you scoundrel? Kai Thursday-fong snatched the iron rod from my hands, intending to swing it at me. I closed my eyes tightly, holding my head, waiting for the pain to hit. But nothing happened. The sound of ringing phones echoed in the silent space. More than 40 tattooed men simultaneously bowed their heads to look at their screens, their expressions changing from fierce to horrified in an instant, and then they turned to rush to control their prince. What are you doing? Kai Thursday-fong shouted, both shocked and furious. The sounds of pleading came in rapid succession. Mr. Liu, please spare my mother, please spare my daughter, please spare my wife. Everyone has weaknesses, and Lu Ching-yin holds all those weaknesses in his hands. Kai Thursday-fong can threaten one person, but Lu Ching-yin can control an entire network. That is the real difference between a reckless person and one at the top. Lu Ching-yin stepped forward to unbutton his suit jacket, his gaze as cold as ice. He took the iron rod and without hesitation stabbed straight at Kai Thursday-fong. He is very good at finding his own way to death. Kai Thursday Fong screamed in pain. At that moment, Lu Qingyin was so terrifying that it sent chills down people's spines. I looked at him, my heart pounding. This was his true self. When there was no more hiding, no need to hold back. Lu Qingyin turned back, raising his hand towards me. Don't be afraid, come here. I immediately ran over, throwing myself into his arms, holding on tightly. Every word became superfluous. He held me close to his chest, as if afraid I would disappear. At that moment, I realized I wasn't the only one trembling. He was trembling too. Secretary Tran led people in, quickly taking control of the scene. Lu Tringon let go of his hand, allowing the doctor to step forward to treat the wound. I hurried to support him, my heart aching. It's okay, he whispered, his voice hoarse. I looked at the wound on his forehead, my heart feeling like it was being squeezed. How do you plan to deal with them? I asked. Lu Tringon looked into the distance, his voice icy. They broke the law, and naturally, the law will take its course. As for the punishment I have for them, it is that all their social resources will completely disappear. Only when you fall to the bottom of society do you see hell. This is the real king of hell. Kyo Mongham finally tasted the feeling of being empty-handed. Only when she hit rock bottom did she understand that for some, just surviving is an extreme effort. At that moment, a line of text appeared before my eyes. Chi Che Feng, after being defeated, was hunted down and killed by his enemies. Kyo Mongham lost all her luck as the female lead, living her life in poverty. I was stunned. Perhaps since birth, everyone carries a predetermined script, but how to walk and how to live is their own choice. The line of text slowly faded away. I realized I was no longer the supporting female character whose fate was arranged in someone else's story. I secretly picked up my phone to tell Lu Tringon about those lines of text. He didn't mock me. After pondering for a moment, he simply said it made sense. I tilted my head to look at him and slowly said, in that script, you were supposed to love Kyo Mongham. He looked at me, his gaze calm, but the person he loves is you. Then opened my phone to check the order. Where there is money, there is love. Lu Tringon glanced at the screen and casually clicked to pay. I happily checked the shopping list. Long felt relieved. He suddenly said, to VNE, do you want to marry me? I looked up at him, momentarily stunned, instinctively responding with a desire for money. I want a really big diamond ring. Okay, the wedding dress has to be a unique design. Alright, what about the dowry? The list is very long, let the secretary send it to you. I laughed, leaning against him. The order of value in my life had changed. Lu Tringon, money. Lu Tringon is even more important than money. I really love him to madness now. The supporting female character next to the male lead isn't supposed to be like that, right? Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. I greatly appreciate your comments, suggestions, and feelings. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.